Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to another Game According to Me podcast. Uh, a pretty interesting weekend in the world of college and professional football. But we're going to start off with a milestone that happened at the end of last week in Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani. Not only did he go, what was it, 6 for 6 or 7 for 7 in a game last week against the Florida Marlins, but in that game, he stole two bases, which put him over the 50 stolen bases mark. And he hit 3 home runs that put him over the 50 home run mark, becoming the first player in Major League Baseball history to have stolen 50 home runs, stolen 50 stolen bases, get the home run, stolen 50 bases and hit 50 home runs in one season. That is insane. When you look at what he's done this season in 154 games as the designated hitter for the Los Angeles Dodgers, he's hitting 301 with 53 home runs, 123 RBIs, OPS of 1.024, which I don't particularly give a damn about, but it's just up there in the stats. This man he's just incredible. He's stolen 55 bases, been caught stealing 4 times. Oh, I mean, this is insane what he has done, um, and it is incredible. And there's even some talk that he is now being that there's some rumors, I should say, man. I don't know if there's talk, but there are rumors that he may, even as the Dodgers get into the playoffs, might be able to pitch out of the bullpen. You know, and for those of you guys that think, well, he's never pitched out of the bullpen before, well, yes, he did in the World Baseball Classic. In fact, he came in the ninth inning and struck out his then teammate Mike Trout for the American squad when he was back on the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. So this is insane, and what he's done has been incredible. This is an incredible accomplishment. He is probably already in his short tenure. He has been in the league 7 years. 7 years. Let's just look at his career stats. 7 years. He has an average of 280, on base of 369, slug of 573 with the OPS of 942. He has hit 224 home runs, driven in 560 RBIs, has walked over 430 times. He has stolen 141 bases. Incredible. And then that's not even talking about what he's done pitching wise. You know, as well. I mean, just think about it. There were some people that were saying that if he goes back to pitching, and I think he wants to go back to pitching, that he could be somebody that wins 20 games and steals 50 bases and hits 50 home runs. They're already talking about him already. And maybe it's too very early in his career for that. But people are already talking about him being the greatest of all time. That's because he does both, and we've never seen somebody do both. So it's incredible. He is 30 years old. He still has a whole bunch of years left on his career. And right now, it doesn't look like he's in his prime. And if you are a baseball fan, you just want to sit back and watch. He is must see TV at any time. And as we get now into the playoffs and the Dodgers are in it, it is going to be fun to sit and watch this guy do what he does. And he can certainly carry the Los Angeles Dodgers team to the World Series. There's no question about that. So we start this podcast giving a shout out to the should be unanimous NL MVP Shohei Ohtani. Speaking of that, that just brings it up. We also want to send a quick shout out to Asia Wilson, the unanimous WNBA MVP, and Caitlin Clark, the unanimous WNBA Rookie of the Year. I'm glad that people were smart enough to give Caitlin Clark the award unanimously and not try to make this. There was somebody on Facebook who stupidly said let's give it to both Reese and Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. No, it was always Caitlin Clark. It was never. Angel Reese had no business in the conversation. So, and finally when she got the injury and she had to sit out the rest of the season, I think we finally realized. I think people finally and Caitlin Clark continued on her tear after the Olympic break. People were like, yeah, it's Caitlin Clark, and it's not even close. So I'm glad they were able to give them the unanimous MVPs as well. So there we have it. Little baseball, little WNBA to start out this podcast. But now we go to what we come here to do. We talk about football. And as always, up first is college. Alright, so let's start with last Friday's action in overtime. Illinois beat Nebraska 31-24. Illinois is 4-0 under Brett Bielema, the quarterback, threw 4 touchdowns in that game. A tremendous game, back-to-back action. Dylan Raiola he is who he is right now, and he looks like he's going to, be a threat, in the near future for Nebraska. So, but a very good game happening last Friday. We get to Saturday's action now as Ohio State just put it down on March 49-14. Clemson beat NC State 59-35, and they see some ACC action. Iowa State took on Arkansas State, whooped them up 52-7. LSU beat UCLA 34-17. Louisville took on Georgia Tech, beat them 31-19. Notre Dame took on Miami of Ohio. They beat this MAC team 28-3. Penn State shut out Kent State 56-0. A very highly contested and highly entertaining game up in the big house. Michigan just scooted by USC 27-24. Utah took down Oklahoma State 22-19. Missouri had to make a comeback in overtime to beat Vanderbilt 30-27. University of Miami in Florida beat South Florida 50-15. Texas A&M beat Golden Bean 26-20. Tennessee took on Oklahoma in the game of the night. Wasn't too much of a game. Tennessee pretty much dominated that game. Oklahoma had to change quarterbacks. But Tennessee stood on top 25-15. Ole Miss beat Georgia Southern 52-13. Texas, with Arch Manning making his first start, of course, against Louisiana Monroe, whooped the hell out of them 51-3. Boise State took on Portland State 56-14. And BYU and Kansas State. BYU had just a beat down on Kansas State 38-9. They talk about this guy Avery Johnson. I guess he's a junior college transfer, something like that. And he went to Kansas State because of the NIL and everything like that. He's got this gold chain. He's supposed to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. But he's not. When I've seen Kansas State, he's not been all that good so far. So I don't know if they paid for a limit or not, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe a little too confident in his abilities, it may seem, there in Kansas State. So let's look ahead to Week 5's action. Again, we start with Friday. Very good game. I think most people are going to think this is going to be a blowout, but you can never tell with Miami and Virginia Tech get on the field. They do some good stuff, and Miami's going to beat Virginia Tech here. But that happened on Friday. On the Saturday's action, BYU was at Baylor. Don't forget now, this is a Big 12, Big 12 thing, a Big 12 action. So BYU and Utah, they're in the Big 12 now. So this is something that, with this new, college football landscape, you have to remember. So BYU's not normally BYU, even though BYU has won the national championship before. being whatever they was. It was an independent at the time, I believe. So, but now they're in the Big 12, so they got a shot. They got taken on the Baylor. Um, Good matchup in Manhattan, Kansas, I believe. Kansas State takes on Oklahoma State, so that should be interesting. Minnesota and Michigan should be a good one. Big Ten action. Kentucky is at Ole Miss, where Ole Miss is playing. They're probably gonna just put it down on Kentucky. Arkansas is at Texas A&M. Louisville and Notre Dame. This should be probably maybe the second biggest matchup of the day. Louisville ranked 15, Notre Dame ranked 16th. Louisville in the ACC. This is a game that Notre Dame, if they want any shot at being in the college football playoff, they need to win this. And this is why the loss to Northern Illinois, even though Northern Illinois is looking good and they are a ranked team, that was inexcusable because you had Louisville, you had Florida State, which has not looked very well, but you had USC, who has looked even better than you thought they were going to be, and you needed to have the ability to really lose one of those games to be able to still make it, and so this is a must win for Notre Dame right here. Wisconsin's at USC, again another Big Ten matchup. You're gonna have to get used to that. Oklahoma's at Auburn, an SEC matchup. Mississippi State's at Texas. Arch Manning will once again make the start for Texas, as Quentin Ewers is still recovering from their rib injury. Stanford's at Clemson in an ACC matchup, which is again, I know I keep saying it, but this is going to take a few years to get used to it. And actually, to be honest with you, I hope that in a few years things go back to some kind of normalcy. Right? And the Pac-12 is already getting back people like, okay, so if USC and UCLA and people like that want to go, that's fine. Oregon, Washington, but I have no idea why Cal and Stanford and Arizona State had to leave the Pac-12. You could have kept them in that anyway. Iowa State's at Houston. Ohio State's at Michigan State. Again, this should probably be an easy win for Ohio State, but Michigan State's gonna give them a game. They're gonna play hard, and try to, make it uneasy for them. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. The game of the day, though, is obviously the number 2 ranked Georgia Bulldogs against the number 4 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. That's their primetime game on ABC. Should be very, very fun. This is the first time in I think 5 years they're going to play in the regular season. So some big time stuff here from Georgia and Alabama. So should be a very interesting, very good game. Illinois is at Penn State. This is also a very good game. Illinois being 4-0, Penn State. This is a good test for Illinois. If Illinois can beat Penn State, Illinois is going to be one of the darlings of this thing, and they'll have a moderate good shot of making it to the Big Ten championship game, I think. South Alabama's at LSU. Once again, LSU. This is going to be one of the games where it's just the tomato cans. Boise State's at Washington State. In a few years, this will be a Pac-12 matchup. Utah and Arizona is hooking up, and Oregon's at UCLA. Another former Pac-12 matchup, now a Big Ten matchup. So there you have it. Those are all of the top 25 games that are happening in week 5. So of college football. Again, I think the standout games are early in the day. Louisville and Notre Dame is going to be a good one. Oklahoma, Kansas State is going to be a pretty good one. I think Minnesota, and Michigan is going to be kind of a sleeper good one. But the game of the night and game of the day will be Georgia, Alabama in the later window. So there you have it. Now on to the National Football League. Now on to the NFL. Check out what happened last week on Thursday Night Football. The Jets took care of the Patriots 24-3. All right, sorry about that. So we talked about the Patriots. They looked good against. They didn't look good. The Jets looked good against the Patriots, and um, Drake May got into the game, got a little bit of run. But I think they're. I mean, listen, we have to stop thinking that the only way to do it is to have the quarterbacks play. Sometimes quarterbacks need to sit, and you necessarily don't know that until until they play. You know, I don't think anybody and I think it all depends on how you got the things set up, and I think that's what you really need to do. I think you need to look at your team, look how you got it set up, and see how you want to do. Yes, I truly believe that if you got the guy should be able to overcome anything. The guy should be able to overcome a bad line, lack of talent, bad play calling, anything, right? Anything. I think the guy is going to be the guy. But I also think that you know sometimes they do need a little bit of help, and even if you did have a little bit of help, they still can play bad. So I just think you need to be honest and look at your team and see how your team is. If you think no, who knows? Maybe Houston thought last year that they weren't going to be that good, so it was good to get C.J. Stroud out there, get him playing time, let him know how to play, and things like that, and it ended up working for them, and they won the division and went to the playoffs. So it has not worked out for the Carolina Panthers, as we'll get to them shortly, but we'll have to wait and see. I think that just is what it is. But I have no problem with them not starting Drake May. On to Sunday's action, starting with the Cleveland Browns and the New York Giants. Malik Neighbors' breakout game. Giants won 21-15. The Eagles and the Saints. Eagles won 15-12. Was able to hold that potency offense in the first 2 weeks to only 12 points. That was very interesting. The Vikings just put it on the Texans. Wow, you talk about this. Their defense was incredible. Sam Donald threw 4 touchdowns. I'm gonna tell you something. You want to talk about? Let's talk about the quarterback. Up in the Jets, maybe he didn't have what he needed to do. Maybe he needed to sit. Before he played. Something like that. But he's gone to San Francisco. Been with Kyle Shanahan, and now he's up in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. He's playing great. They had their J.J. McCarthy. I think they were going to sit J.J. McCarthy and let Sam Darnold play. I think, or it was going to be a competition. I'm not sure, but the injury forced Sam Darnold, to be the starter, and he's played great. And he got the Vikings 3-0. They beat the Texans 34-7. Another rookie who is playing. And he played a very average to good game this week against the Buccaneers. Was Bo Nix. Had the Broncos led the Browns to the victory 26-7. Good show that did. Don't have the Buccaneers after beating the Lions. Now to come to the Broncos, we just don't know what the hell was going on. So yeah, I don't know. Another quarterback that seems to be playing very well is Malik Willis. Last week was, just run the ball 53 times. They didn't do that this week. Malik Willis played well under Matt LaFleur. So the Titans, who's not playing well, as Will Levis. I'm not sure what's going on. Now he is showing glimpses of brilliance. And again, I think this might be one where, he needs to play to get his kinks out and make his mistakes. It might seem like so, and that's what they're doing. And I think they've got some nice talent around him with Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd and just DeAndre Hopkins. So I think they're doing right by Will Levis. But it's just right now it's just a little too much for him. The Packers defense sacked him 7 or 8 times, I believe. And Packers won 30-14. Someone who's not having a good time is Caleb Williams. He's been sacked 13 times in 3 games. Offensive line looks to be very, um, very below average. Even though Pro Football Focus has him at the 10th ranked offensive line in the league, so I know about that. But just couldn't be able to put up points. They had some bad play calling from Shane Waldron. And Kelly made mistakes. He's a rookie. A lot of these Bears fans were talking about him being the guy that's over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, and they're expecting him to do it in his rookie year because that they still have C.J. Stroud, and they're getting a reality check, and it's unfortunate because as Bears fans, I want the Bears to win, but also I think this is good for the fan base so that they can, because I thought some of the things talking about winning 11 games and them being, a playoff team and things like that were reaching. If it happened, good. Let's be surprised by it. But to just think they were going to be like 11, there were people even saying they were saying Detroit were going to have 13 and Packers were going to have 12 and they were going to have 11. But does this look like an 11-win team? I should say, does this look like an 11-win offense? It's an 11-win defense. Is this 11-win offense with a rookie quarterback who's making rookie mistakes? Even with the talent around him? Come on, guys. Coach, and talking about Anthony Richardson is just, got injured last year, so he's making the rookie mistakes this year, but he's got to get it together. He is talented up the wazoo, but he is someone that is killing the Colts. That's a good football team, and if he could calm down and play a little better, he could be that team could be interesting. The Steelers beat the Chargers 20-10. Justin Herbert got injured in that game. He was already going in with an ankle, and they I think re-aggravated it, so took him out. Justin Fields had his best game as a Steeler. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna back down. I don't think Justin Fields is a good quarterback. For me to think that Justin Fields is a good quarterback, I'm gonna see him do it consistently. Not only this season, but then he would have to do it next season as well before I even think that he is an actual quarterback, and he's just not a running back who can throw. So I want to see very consistent for Justin Fields. But they are 3-0. You got to give them that. The Seahawks beat the Dolphins 24-3, and another quarterback for the Dolphins got injured. Now they're going to go to Tyler Huntley, who they signed off the Ravens practice squad. So the Dolphins had a down bad right now with Tua Tagovailoa put on injured reserve with his concussion issues, and Skylar Thompson now down as well. Let me take a drink of water here. I'm getting the hiccups. Okay, we talked about the Panthers. They beat the Raiders 36-22. Andy Dalton looked sharp, ran the offense effectively. The whole new Panthers team. And again, I think maybe Bryce Young just needed to, he really needed to sit, and maybe that's what they should have done. They should have sit Bryce Young for a year, maybe even 2 years. Dan Graziano said that there were people who talked to him and said they got him down in the boardroom. They put him on the board, and he could break down anything and let you know where he's supposed to go with the ball and things like that. And he was one of the most sharpest quarterback minds they have ever seen. But he's just not shown it while he's playing the game. So it's one of those things where he can see it, but he can't do it right as of right now. So that's unfortunate. Hopefully he can do it. No, I actually think he could maybe still do it with the Panthers. Just because they went to him doesn't mean that his career with the Panthers is over. And that's because he's not ruined as well. So maybe he could still be someone for the Panthers. The Rams, despite all their energy, surprised and beat the 49ers 27-24. 49ers 1-2 doing that Super Bowl hangover thing. So we don't know about that. I don't know who, I can't remember who they got this week, but I think it might be a get right game for the 49ers. We'll come to that in a second. And the Rams, they've got my Bears, and so we'll see what happens with that. The Lions beat the Cardinals 20-13. Lions get back on track. There, Cardinals still looking good even in losses, so that's great. Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. is becoming a quickly, duo in the league. The Ravens held off on the Cowboys. They had a 28 to was it 6, lead, and then the Cowboys came back with some touchdowns, 2-point conversions, onside kick. Back, they had a chance and just couldn't do it. And the Ravens, they let Lamar Jackson, run all over him for the first down. So they really pounded the football this week. Did the Ravens? Everybody was talking about where did you get Derrick Henry from? And listen, and I'm gonna tell you this: with Lamar Jackson, this is what you should do. Give the ball to Derrick Henry, and then let Lamar Jackson just make easy throws that he can make. Don't try to have him read defenses or anything like that because he can't do it. Just let him just be the game manager that he is probably suited to be. So, and then they won 28-25, the first victory for the Baltimore Ravens this season. Chiefs had a dogfight with the Falcons, but I think Raheem Morris pretty much gave the Chiefs that game twice. Went for it on 4th down when they would have kicked 2 field goals. They would have got, they would have won the game more than likely, because 6 points, that would have been 23. It would have been 23-22. Travis Kelce has not been himself. Although just saw something before I started the podcast, saw something on Pat McAfee's show where people are saying that they're watching the film and Travis Kelce is open, and Patrick Mahomes is just not throwing it to him. So I don't know. If that's happening, I don't think Travis Kelce is the type of dude to call out his teammates in public or anything like that. Especially Patrick Mahomes, the guy who can give him the ball. But maybe he's letting them know, in practice, things like that. Hey, I'm open. Throw me the ball. Look for me. The Bills on Monday Night Football, one of the Monday Night Football games, destroyed the Jaguars 47-10. I'm telling you guys, I've been saying this for 2 to 3 years now. Last year was a bad year with Josh with all the turnovers. So my statements looked kind of ridiculous, but I'm still saying this. When you look at with your eyes and you don't take into account head-to-head records, you don't take account into Super Bowls or playoff things or anything like that. When you just look at how they play on the field, Josh Allen is the best quarterback in this league, and I don't think it's a doubt for me. Not a doubt. I love what Patrick does. I love what Joe Burrow does. Everything like that. But love Brock Purdy can most of the time play just make the right decision and put the ball in the right spot for the right receiver. But Josh Allen has been the best quarterback since the AFC Championship game 3 years ago, where he drove the Bills down the field, scored a touchdown, and left the Chiefs with 13 seconds. And the special teams and the defense let them down and got them to get the past midfield to kick a field goal, and then the Chiefs got the ball in overtime, went down the field and scored. But he is the biggest thing, and he's the best quarterback in the league. All right, sorry about all the noise going on in the background. So let's see if I can pick up for where we were. The Jaguars and the Bills. And I was just talking about Josh Allen being the best quarterback in the game. Trevor Lawrence looked about better in the second half, but you can definitely tell he has regressed from his second season in the league. And the other Monday Night Football game was the Commanders and the Bengals. The Commanders won 38-33, sending the Bengals to 0-3. Jaden Daniels, 21-23 for over 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He was incredible. And I already got some crazy stuff talking about did the Bears make the right choice? You know, was Caleb Williams struggling, Jaden Daniels, and everything like that. So, but there was a lot. At least there was some common sense coming from some of the players saying, "Hey, listen, there's the Washington Redskins had Washington Commanders, excuse me, had a little bit more stuff ready for the Jaden Daniels to come in rather than Caleb Williams. So we do that. Now we go ahead and we look ahead to Week 4 tomorrow night. That's Cowboys against the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. Um, Cowboys need to try to get back on track and 1-2. The Giants are also 1-2. So somebody's looking to get to 500. Other one will be totally behind in the background, 1-3. Jerry Jones said that it's very fair for him to put the blame to take the blame on the Cowboys' slow start in this season because he's basically the GM and everything like that. He's the one that goes out and signs people and drafts people and things like that. So it's very fair. And I was very interested to hear him say that. So that's very interesting. As we look ahead to Sunday, we get the Bengals at the Panthers. Bengals really need to read this. They cannot go to 0-4, or they're pretty much definitely out of the picture in the AFC North because you can't let the Steelers get by, and then the Browns and the Ravens as well. So they can't go to 0-4. They've got to beat the Panthers. And the Panthers, listen, maybe now they have some new confidence with Andy Dalton under center, and so that could be something very interesting. That could be a very interesting game come Sunday afternoon. The Saints are at the Falcons. This is a team. These are two teams. Fighting for NFC South supremacy. Most people thought the Falcons could be one of the team coming out of the South. The Saints had an early surprise, even though they had last week Sunday's kind of downer game against the Eagles. This could still be a very interesting matchup. The Jaguars are at the Texans. Texans coming off a surprising loss to the Vikings, and the Jaguars with their losses as well. Listen, the Jaguars need this win. The Texans, they're not out of it though. If they lose, but the Jaguars need this more. I bet the Broncos at the Jets, another revenge game for Nathaniel Hackett. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is going to want to, put it on the Broncos. The Bo Nix played well against the Buccaneers. Let's see if we can put 2 straight games together. That's very interesting to see. Vikings versus Packers, a very interesting matchup in the NFC North. Vikings 3-0, Packers 2-1. Jordan Love, he was starting before, not starting, but he was practicing before the game against the Titans, and but he's going through a lot of workouts, but they decided to go with Malik Willis. There's a good chance he could play this week against the Vikings. So if he does play, that puts the Packers and the Vikings on notice. But that defense is flying around, making a lot of plays, creating a lot of turnovers. Sam Darnold was playing well as well. So, but the Packers defense as well. They had, as I said, 7-8 sacks against Will Levis. We'll see what they can do against Sam Darnold. That's going to be a very interesting matchup to watch this upcoming week. The Steelers are at the Colts again. I think once again, Justin Fields is going to start. At least I think he will. And the Colts, some of the they got to, they don't want to be left behind in this division with the although again the Jaguars and the Texans and the Titans all kind of on the struggle bus so far, all losing last week. This could be a game for the Colts if they can make some plays. We'll see how that defense goes up against Justin Fields and that Steelers offense. The Rams are at the Bears. Talking about this, the Rams are just injured on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensively. Should the Bears should have Keenan Allen back possibly, and there's a whole bunch of things, but they cannot run the ball. You know, they're going to pass the ball. Keely Williams is going to continue to make mistakes with the play calling, make some right plays in the right time. We'll have to wait and see. This is going to be a very interesting one. Um, and I think this game will lead to what team might go down in the playoffs, because I don't think either team, Rams or Bears, are going to win their division. So this is going to be a big game for both of them. Both teams have playoff aspirations, and this game could squash either one of their hopes or dreams. We've got the Eagles at the Buccaneers, a playoff rematch from last year. The Eagles are coming in, still not offensively doing what they need to do, but defensively had a great game against the Saints. Buccaneers just laid an egg against the Denver Broncos, so we'll see what happens there. Patriots at the 49ers. Like I talked about, this is a get-right game for the 49ers. Even though the Patriots they played well in their first two games, and their defense is very good, but this is the 49ers, and however, I think Christian McCaffrey makes everything go. And even though Mason is a fine backup, he's not Christian McCaffrey. Kittle, he's got some injury issues as well. So I might say this should be a get right game for the 49ers, get them back on the winning track. The Commanders at the Cardinals. This is going to be a very interesting game. For the two, obviously the Commanders on a short week, but coming off a very excellently played well game against the Bengals, and the Cardinals stayed with the Lions all through last game. Should be a fun watch. The Chiefs at the Chargers. Looks like Justin Herbert may not play with the injury. And the Chiefs are, they're a little bit, they're not the Chiefs as we thought they was. We're not going to be the offense that they thought it was, at least not yet. But give them any shot in the world, and I think they're going to pick it up in the world. They could do it this Sunday against the Chargers. The Browns are at the Raiders. Both teams looking to try to get back into their division race and get back into the wild card race, even though it's very early. You don't want to lose and fall behind, 1-3 for each one, and you just don't want that. Sunday Night Football, the Bills are at the Ravens. Bills still looking to continue. The Ravens, they're trying to get back on track, get to 500. Should be a very well played game for both teams, but I think what you got to do is the Bills have got to keep Lamar Jackson in check running and make him a passer and make him do what he does the worst, which is pass. And then that Ravens defense is going to be a tough one for the Bills to crack, but I think Josh Allen, the best quarterback in the league, can do so. It's just going to be up to his surrounding cast to help him out in that game. And Bills should take care of the Ravens, I think. And still two more Monday Night Football games. Again, another rematch of last year's Monday Night Football game. The Titans at the Dolphins with this is Will Levis, brought the Titans back to win that game against the Dolphins. Again, no Tua Tagovailoa, no Skylar Thompson. They're going to start Tyler Huntley, and then you have Will Levis for the Titans. Don't make any stupid mistakes. Titans, you should win this game. And then you get the Seahawks at the Lions. Very high-scoring matchup. I believe that was last year. Very high-scoring matchup from these two teams. I think it might be that way again this week. Seahawks are very good. They're 3-0. Lions are 2-1. They're at home, and I think this is a good time for this is a good time for the Jahmyr Gibbs game. Let's just get Jahmyr Gibbs going here in the second half of the Monday Night Football game. So there you have it. The look ahead to this upcoming week in the National Football League. And now let's go ahead and let's close out this podcast. All right, guys, there you have it. That is it for this episode. Again, according to me, again, make sure you come back next week. Every week during the football season on Wednesdays, we talk about what went down in the prior week in college football and the National Football League, and we look ahead to what's going to happen in the weekends games of the college football and National Football League season. Um, Please, if you enjoyed what you just heard, please make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you will hear on my other podcast, the AJTRIP Show, which is going to be starting in the new year. What video games I play on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/AJTrip20. It has to be the game that I have. It can't be a game I don't have. And what videos you'd like for me to do on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AJTrip, which, by the way, my podcast is also put onto YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you like the video and you share the video. You subscribe to the channel. And always, I thank you guys so much for watching or listening as it is, because this is a podcast. There's no video to this. So watching, listening, whatever you do, thank you very so much. I appreciate it. And if there's other ways that you want to support me, you can go to the Spotify link in the description box below, and there's 3 tiers: 99¢, $4.99, and $9.99. And if you can't do it monetarily, you can always just share my podcast, all over to social media. You can rate it so it's highly ranked, and and do that as well. Anything that you do to help support me, I appreciate. Even if you just listen, I appreciate that, because that helps out too. But again, thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy AJTrip signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.